Are you struggling with Hashimoto's thyroiditis? Maybe your thyroid levels are fluctuating or your antibody levels are really high and you just want to know how to control the progression of this disease. My name is Dr. Taranella, and in this video, we're going to look at 3 specific ways to control Hashimoto's thyroiditis. We'll look at some diet things, medications, and overall immune system function. So as I said, my name is Dr. Taranella, and if you're new to this channel, just want you to know I'm making these videos to help you go beyond the basics of your health, whether it's a confusing lab test, symptom, or diagnosis. I make these videos to help you get a better understanding of what's going on with your health. So if you like this kind of information on nutrition, health, hormones, and overall just understanding your health, click on the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get more videos like this one. Now for a quick disclaimer, the information in this video is for informational purposes only. It's not intended as a treatment for any health condition or as a substitute for seeing an actual doctor or medical professional. It should be used as an educational guide to deeper your understanding of your own health and treatment success. If medical attention is needed, don't delay in seeking that attention. All right, let's take a look at ways to control Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So in this video, we're going to look at the top 3 ways to control Hashimoto's thyroiditis. If you don't know, Hashimoto's thyroiditis is an autoimmune disorder that affects the thyroid gland. While there's no black and white clear-cut way to cure Hashimoto's thyroiditis, there are several ways to reduce the immune activity when you have Hashimoto's thyroiditis and therefore manage the symptoms and slow down the progression of the disease. So here we'll look at 3 ways to control Hashimoto's thyroiditis from the perspective of symptoms and disease progression as it relates to the immune activity. So the first way I want to talk about is with medications. Now, you wouldn't typically think that medications are going to help control the disease progression, but of course, it is going to help with the symptom management. So thyroid medications such as levothyroxine and some of the desiccated animal thyroid hormones too, like Armour thyroid and NP thyroid, are going to help support the missing thyroid hormone that your body needs in order to function at its best and at a normal level. When your immune cells are attacking the thyroid gland, they're interfering with the thyroid hormone production. And therefore, this replacement therapy thyroid hormone is going to even out some of the bumps in the road that you may feel as symptoms when you have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So those thyroid hormones that you're taking are going to reduce the symptoms, but it also can help slow down the disease progression. And there's some research studies showing that taking thyroid hormone and keeping the levels of your thyroid really high and the TSH suppressed actually slows down the immune activity. I'll put a link to an article that goes into that in more detail in the description. So the second thing I wanted to discuss with regard to controlling Hashimoto's thyroiditis is diet. So healthy diet can help support thyroid function and reduce immune activation. Question is, what's a healthy diet? So it's recommended that you find and eliminate any foods that may be stimulating your immune system above and beyond what it should be. This is referred to as an elimination diet, also known as the AIP diet. Now, the most common foods that are going to do this are gluten, but the top 3 are gluten, dairy, and eggs. There is some research supporting the reduced immune activation with the AIP diet, specifically in those with Hashimoto's. So it does look like there's something to this when it's researched, and indeed I do see that these kinds of approaches do help. AIP stands for autoimmune protocol, and it's basically just eliminating all those foods that are likely to be triggering to the immune system. I'm going to do a separate video on this whole topic of foods related to Hashimoto's thyroiditis, so stay tuned for that video. The long and short of it is there was some improvement in the overall immune activity, but there wasn't a whole lot of change in the overall thyroid activity or the autoantibodies. So the third thing to talk about is stress management and the overall immune activation. So stress can reduce immune activity. We know this because corticosteroids like prednisone definitely reduce immune activity. And we know that stress does this in general. So it's important to manage your stress as best as you can to help reduce the risk of flare-ups. Another thing to think about that's very important that's related to diet, but sort of in a different category in and of itself, is your overall gut and digestive health. Most of our immune system by volume and number of cells is wrapped around our intestines. So if there's foods or pathogenic microbes in the digestive tract, those are going to unnecessarily activate or stimulate your immune cells, which can lead to more flare-ups and more problems with your Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Along the same lines is the regulatory T cell response. So regulatory T cells help regulate the activation of your immune system or the lack of activation. So sometimes the regulatory T cells will increase immune activity or decrease immune activity depending on the overall signal that those cells are seeing. So you can think of regulatory T cells as kind of modulators of the immune system. So things like making sure you have enough vitamin D is very important when you have any kind of autoimmune disease, and probably important for everyone in general. So those are 3 general ways to control Hashimoto's thyroiditis: through medications, diet, and overall immune activation. So of course, there's more details that we can go into for each of these, and it's important to work with your healthcare practitioner to go into as much detail as needed for each of these, because every person is kind of unique in how they present. They may have multiple other things going on or nothing really going on at all. And your lab tests, symptoms, and overall picture is what's going to dictate what the best treatment is for you. So how did I do? Did that help you better understand how to control Hashimoto's thyroiditis? If it did, great. But if you do have follow-up questions on this topic, drop it in the comment section. I'm happy to answer your questions. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.